will be in store for public education policy moving forward. Just like everything else with this administration, the secretary is going to have a lot to do and making sure that the individuals are focused on restoring some of the policies and practices. And I use one example, like the Office of Civil Rights out of the Education Department. That's one thing that has been de-emphasized in the current administration that should be re-emphasized with the new administration. And I think that that's extremely important to emphasize the Office of Civil Rights out of the Education Office. And so I'm excited that we have an education secretary who's also a former educator, but more importantly, the fact that they're going to look at, re-emphasize many policies that are critically important to urban districts like ours. That's most important.
Are we also talking about hopefully additional funding? In two parts of that, you said that you're anxious to get back into the schools. Is there more work that has to be done in these schools that would make them more COVID sensitive?
Oh yeah, there's always work to be done in schools, but lots of work has been done already, Cody, and many of our schools are already ready to receive young people. Mm-hmm. We also now have the ability to test both adults and students, and that will be something that we will be able to do as well. Naturally, you're going to still have to social distance. You're going to still have to have PPE and mask, and until such time that most of us have received vaccines, which at the current rate could be who knows when. Mm-hmm. But by the same token, so we'll still have to socially distance, but many of our schools, and I would almost say almost all of our schools, are ready to receive young people now. And that's why we hope to get individuals back. And so it's really important to have those protocols like testing protocols in place, contact tracing, and all of those other things in place before individuals begin to come back. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the money, Cody, the Congress just approved and the president signed, thank goodness, a stimulus package that will then mean additional funds for urban school districts around the country, including the School District of Philadelphia. So we're really excited to also be receiving federal funding for the purpose of educating children in public schools.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if are we up on a break already, Cody, or we just work through it since we're on Skype?
You got so many folks now. We're gonna let you make that call. You ready for a break, or?
Let's go ahead. We'll start with at least the introduction of our first couple of guests, because as I said, there are a couple of things that we want to ensure that we communicate this morning. And the first individual that I'd like to talk with right now, and he's on the line, and I see him on the line. Good morning, Frank Makos. And Frank is the executive director of a music program. He's the executive director of Arts and Creative Learning for SDP. And he is here with us this morning, and I want to make sure that I have an opportunity for Frank to briefly talk about the partnerships that the School District of Philadelphia has with all of their music programs. And so, Frank, good morning and Happy New Year.
How's everybody doing out there?
Good morning.
2021, ready to go. Year of the arts, year of music education. So it's so much to talk about, and I know time is tight, and we've got much more amazing guests than me lined up for the rest of the hour. But just wanted to, catch everybody up. It's been a kind of a crazy year, and normally December's our chance to really show off at the schools what's going on with our winter concerts and our art exhibitions and lots of performances all around the city. And of course, we didn't have that opportunity this year, but certainly our teachers jumped on the opportunity to be innovative. And there's a lot of digital showcases that are available at the school level, YouTube. So we encourage people to reach out to the schools and check all of that out. One of the cool things about the digital space is if you couldn't make it the night of the concert, now you can watch it on demand. So we're excited about that, and just so many great partners to talk about kind of the theme of today. Of course, it's important to highlight that none of this works without our incredible music educators in the buildings, online, whatever the situation may be. We are 225 music educators strong in the School District of Philadelphia. every student in K-8 has access to at least instrumental music, and with the new guardrails, we're excited to move that towards 100% across all grades over the next couple of years. Of course, partners are what really help once that foundation is set, and we can't thank all of our partners enough for how quickly they've shifted into the digital space with us, and just met the challenge of not being able to do what we normally do. I'm not sure where the country I just zoomed into, but yeah, so just to highlight a couple of them, I want to really touch on the Mann Music Center, Mann Center for the Performing Arts. You'll hear a little bit more about them when we bring Brandon on, and he'll talk about some of the collaboration, but they've really come to the rescue to become a digital stage for us. So our all-city band, orchestra, choir programs could live on. You've seen some really cool things happening. Jay Fluellen at Northeast High School with virtual choirs. You'll see some more of that with our all-city choir. Kappa and GAMP and a lot of other schools put on virtual showcases. We've had some cool partners behind the scenes on that. Shout out to Young Moo Kim and Drexel Excite Center for where some of that can happen. And then there's so many to list. I don't want to name too many without losing folks, but I just want to highlight some of the things that we have planned that you'll see coming in the next few months. Starting in February, one of our newer partners, JG Sky High, which is the restaurant at the Four Seasons, top of the Comcast, will be able to feature some student showcases, performances in their space, everything permitted with everything reopening. We'll be able to pair some of our young musicians with professionals and alumni, starting in February, hopefully with Eric Wortham, who's a graduate of Kappa, who will be hosting some young Kappa musicians playing alongside with him, and one of our young DJs, Christian Harrison from Hill Freeman World Academy, up there with a professional DJ. So we'll be launching what we call Mic'd Up, and you'll be able to see our young folks with our alumni professional, and Bellow Sound is the producing partner behind all that. And then just one other big partnership I'll talk about that's in the works. It's really exciting. We have a fantastic alumni by the name of Chill Moody, who's a local rapper, ambassador, a graduate of Overbrook High School. And Chill Moody is a partner in a program in a company called Nice Things Music with Jason Berger, and they're working with us along with some of the partners you'll hear about coming up to really build out some music industry initiatives. One particular feature to highlight. Our goal by the end of this year is to have the School District of Philadelphia set up to do digital distribution of student-created work. So essentially a student-run record label that you'll hear about the wonderful things that are happening at Hill Freedman. At the district, we're looking at how do we support that? How do we bolster that up and make sure that it's not just a Philadelphia story, but really it's a national, international story. So some of that's in the works. So I'll take a breath there because I could go on and on and on. But really cool, exciting stuff happening with our students.
Thanks, Frank. Good morning to you. And once again, Happy New Year. And as Cody, you heard a couple of things that Frank just talked about. One is that the number of instrumental music teachers that are in our schools, and the fact that all K-8 students have access to instrumental music, and we're moving towards all children, regardless of grade, having access to instrumental music. As I indicated before, Frank Makos is the Executive Director of Arts and Creative Learning for the School District of Philadelphia, and we're thrilled with his leadership. And he talked about multiple partnerships, and one partnership that has been significant, particularly in this work, is Live Nation. And we have an individual who's an alumni from the School District of Philadelphia, and specifically Masterman, and that is the Vice President of Business Development and Operations at Live Nation, and that is Brandon Panky. And Brandon, good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dr. Height. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks. And Brandon, can you talk a little bit about the partnership and why you think it's so important as we talk about educating the young people of today to expose them to these types of opportunities?
Absolutely, absolutely. Before I do, I want to just thank you and thank Frank Makos, the work that you're doing. And if I'm being over the top, it's revolutionary. I think that what Philly is doing just really touches and really kind of molds what other cities are doing. I know what Frank does on a daily basis, so I wanted to give you both kudos for that. I think it's important that we meet our young people where they are. Philadelphia district is one of the largest urban school districts in the country. And so we know that our students, particularly Black and brown students, are attracted to creativity. I would argue that in North America, our greatest export is creativity. Our creative economy is strong and it continues to grow, particularly as we look at the pandemic, right? I mean, you see how much content there's been, how many live streams have been developed. There's so many opportunities for young people to be in music in front of the camera and also behind the scenes. And so that's where Live Nation really comes into play. I think being a part of Live Nation Urban in particular, we know what our kids need, what our kids really would like to thrive and to build and to grow in the music industry and entertainment in general. And so working with the school district, one of our biggest initiatives was our partnership with Live Nation Philadelphia, Live Nation Urban, and the school district to provide a quarter from every show, every ticket at the Met in North Philadelphia, and have that donated for all music education initiatives. That's been super successful since the opening of the Met. Outside of that, you know, I've been in the schools with my program that I run with Michael McArthur and Jerome Hicks, who are music managers and entertainment executives in their own right, called DASH, Destined to Achieve Successful Heights, really teaching young people about the business of entertainment. A lot of young people want to be rappers or want to be athletes, but don't understand that you can be a marketing manager, that you can be a promoter at a company like Live Nation and have a very successful career in the music industry. And we really go through the business elements, but not only that, teaching young people about songwriting and production. We have a director of literacy, Crystal Oliver, who actually also works at Hill Friedman. We have a director of technology, Ivan Barrios, who really is hands-on with teaching students about Logic Pro and Soundtrap and other music production software. So I'm just excited. You know, this is the work that really means a lot to me. It's great that I'm in the industry and I'm working with a lot of high-profile artists, but to work with young people in this city, particularly because I am an alum of the school district, it's everything to me, sir.
So appreciate that, Brandon, and you just reminded me of something to thank you for once again, and that is the proceeds from the ticket that are sold at the Live Nation events, and so that has gone a long way into helping us to support individuals like Ezekiel Thurman, teacher from Hill Friedman High School, and his two students who are also here, and so. So Brandon, thank you once again for that work, and thank you for talking about why it's so critically important to engage young people in the process, and not just in the process of making music in front of the camera, but all of the other things that you talked about in terms of what young people can do. And I know that you have been instrumental in helping us specifically. You talked about being in schools. And can you talk a little bit about the programs you are currently doing and plan to do in 2021 with the school district?
For sure. You know, one of our biggest success stories, I mean, we've worked with a ton of schools in the district, but I want to talk about Strawberry Mansion High School. You'll have Ben Perkins on a little bit later. But we've been in that school for several years, and we've seen there is data that backs that the kids that we've worked with, their grades have improved, their excitement for school and being in school and learning, not just in music, but in all of their subject matters have improved. We're in Girls High. As Frank mentioned, we have a partnership with the school district, ourselves, and the Mann Center for the Performing Arts. We're going to go into Overbrook High School starting next week, actually, teaching songwriting, production, and those business elements that we talked about. And we're going to continue to grow and build into other schools that I know I'm missing right now. But it's really important and pivotal for us to be in as many schools as possible. I mean, the potential that our kids have is really, it's unlimited. And I really want to focus on those business elements, because guess what? When you're learning marketing in music, you take those same marketing principles and you can apply that, you know, working for a school district or working for a healthcare company. Again, we just want to build future executives because our students are that great. And I think as long as we give them the opportunity and that nugget, that kernel of wanting to have that knowledge, wanting to gain that, you know, the opportunities are really, as I stated, unlimited. And so I'm just excited that we just get to continue to do this work on a yearly basis, that Frank continues to believe in this work so much, that you, Dr. Height, understand the significance of this work. I don't know if I should bring this story up, but I remember, when we met, backstage. It was a summer block party, the Jill Scott concert at Jill. I think it's important because when you were meeting Jill, you were escorted by, her personal security and her executive assistant and you were with her management team, all of the people around Jill that helped to make those little moments, you know, for fans, that make it happen. And so that's why so that all of those people around the artists can continue, that we have those future executives, that we have those next gen leaders, as a part of those moments. So again, just super excited.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for reminding me of the opportunity to meet Jill Scott in person, who's also another alum of the School District of Philadelphia as well. And so lots of excitement, and not just for me in terms of this work, and Frank in terms of his work, and you in terms of this work, but lots of excitement for our young people. And as Frank mentioned, many of their educators who make these things happen in our school district. And one of those educators is here with us this morning. I think the other will maybe calling in, but I do know we have Ezekiel Thurman here on the screen. And Ezekiel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Height, and thanks for having us on.
Yeah, and Ezekiel, I know, and you have two students with you as well, and we're going to play a track for them momentarily. But before we do, can you talk a little bit about the process of making a CD with the students? And I know you have several CDs now that you and your children have produced, but can you talk a little bit or describe the process of making CDs with your students?
Absolutely. Well, and I also want to thank you, Dr. Height, for your ongoing support of the arts and the board, and of course, Mr. Makos and the entire School District of Philadelphia community. Making a CD in terms of the Hill Freeman World Academy record label we rely heavily on partnership and on real world relevance. Of course, I've had the pleasure of leading the program for 5 years, but it's about literally creating space and giving time, even in the vital part of the school day, the school curriculum, and really valuing music and creative writing and integrating it together into the full school curriculum. So at Hill Freeman, we have a really exciting International Baccalaureate program that allows our entire 9th and 10th grade class to be involved in our student record label, which is really unique. It's not an elective, it's not a side piece that only a small number of students get involved in. So it starts with a really wide grouping of students. And we engage them, really over the course of 2 full years with the culminating project of the album, which, by the way, thanks for sharing the album cover as your background. But that album represents the culminating project for our 10th graders. And it's a lot about just supporting and creating and cultivating and bringing in so much of what we've already talked about, partners, community members, but also building bridges between the traditional school structures with our administrator and our teachers, getting other teachers on board. And then most importantly, really thinking about what the students are saying, what matters to them, and how can we get resources in the right places to empower our students to make the most decisions, get involved at the highest levels, and express themselves. And so how do we make albums? It starts in the classroom. We have at Hill Freeman, we're really fortunate to have a technology lab for our students to have class in that has, everyone has computers, everyone has access to music creation software. We then bring in, I do the first year of curriculum, and it's mostly about creating and creative capacity. We do creative writing, we do music creating through Logic Pro. We do talk about music industry, but our mission statement for Hill Freeman Records is we provoke positive change in our world through creating, through music, through media. And so we're a mission-driven part of the curriculum of Hill Freeman. And the creating itself, the music, the writing then kind of flows up out of the mission. And so we allow the students to really wrestle with what the mission should be, what matters to them, what are they seeing, feeling, experiencing in their world. And then how can we use the tools that we have musically, creatively, in terms of writing, and actually address those things. And our goal is to reach our community, our school community. We figure if we can reach the halls of Hill Freeman with the music and the art that our students are making, then we've accomplished our mission. And then, occasionally we've seen the albums go beyond our school. And so we want to acknowledge too that these partnerships are a big part. Bringing in Crystal Oliver, who was already mentioned, who comes to us through a partnership with World Cafe Live. We're really fortunate to have that music nonprofit as a lead partner with us at Hill Friedman, and they've invested heavily, bringing in the poet laureate of the city of Philadelphia, Trapita Mason, came in last year and helped with the creative writing portion of this album, Things That Matter. We've had Andrew Lipke, who's a lead teaching artist from across the region. We've had Chill Moody was one of our lead artists. So all these folks coming into our space, interacting with students. And then of course, when the pandemic hit, we made a really crazy decision to keep this thing going through Zoom, even through the months of April and May and June, and even in about 3 weeks past the end of school. So this, it's kind of more fluid than just the typical structure of our school calendar, but a lot of very committed members of our community, our school, our administrators, and students then kind of move to the forefront and create these incredible songs and albums.
Thanks. And we were just listening to Ezekiel Thurman. He's a music teacher at Hill Friedman, and who has now several, I think 3 albums, and he was talking about that process. And in a moment, Cody, I think it was time to go to a break, but after we come from the break, I want to also talk to Ben Perkins, who's a teacher at Strawberry Mansion. And we also heard from Brandon Pinckney, from the vice president at Live Nation. He talked about the work that is happening both at Strawberry Mansion that he's so very proud of, and at Hill Friedman. And so we're going to hear from Ben Perkins, but more importantly, we're going to hear from the young people, and we're going to hear a couple of tracks that the young people have created on the other side of the break. So, Cody, I think now is the time to go to break, and when
let's keep going, Doc.
Oh, let's keep going. Okay,
yeah, you got a full show. We want to get it all in. So
fantastic. Then that's even
unless
better.
you need a break.
No break needed here. So
okay.
At this time, I'm also excited to introduce Ben Perkins, and Ben is a music teacher at Strawberry Mansion. And Ben, thank you. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Hyde. Happy New Year. It's great to be here. Hi, everyone.
And Ben, so tell us a little bit about the process that you've gone through with your students in creating the CD.
Sure. Well, we've been working with Dash to create songs, and their program is, like we create songs once a year. So the song that you're going to hear today was a song that our students wrote in collaboration with the John Lennon Bus, which came to Strawberry Mansion last year. And the student who is with us today is Elijah Cannon, who was a part of the team who wrote that song. They wrote the song in one day and produced it and made a music video. And what we're doing now in school is we're working on the skills to continue to create our own records and write our own songs and work on all those skills and to hear what our students have to say. They have to say a lot.
That's fantastic. And so Ben and Ezekiel, I know it's the holiday break, and Frank and all of the students who are here. So I know we're still in the holiday break, and so I just really thank you for getting up on a Saturday to talk about the exciting things that are happening in schools. And so at this time, I would love to tee up a couple of the tracks that we wanted individuals to hear from our students. And if, in fact, Cody, we have the engineer up, we can tee up some of the tracks and then come back and talk about those tracks with the young people who are here.
Young Jordan in the studio is ready for you, Doc.
All right. So let's go ahead and tee up the track from the Diary of a Sorry Sis. And that is featuring Jaylene Pearson of Hill Friedman, and then we'll go to Things That Matter featuring Jameer Nixon, also at Hill Friedman, and then we'll talk to those two, and then come back and tee up the track Sky Is the Limit featuring Elijah Cannon from Strawberry Mansion. And so we could do the first two tracks, Diary of a Sorry Sis and Things That Matter.
just like a knife, deeper if so. I apologize, pain from the past pulls me back. I apologize for the lies and I say I am okay, though I'm hurting. Circles on and go on and on and on and on. And I apologize. You say it's fine, you say I say sorry too much. And I apologize. No, I'm sorry. So sorry. We hope we try as life goes by. This is what really matters. We fell, get up and do it again. What even really matters in the end. I say I'm okay, you say you know me. I can tell you what's on my mind, and I never listen, but you don't admit it. No, pain from the past, it holds me back. I apologize, I apologize. Smiling through the tears, laughing through the pain, crying over love, let it slip away. Smiling through the tears, laughing through the pain, crying over love, let it slip away.
Doc,
Yeah, so that was. I
is
think
that
was
artist
Maria.
with you? Is that artist in this group?
She is indeed.
Wow.
And that's Jaylene Pearson. And Jaylene, how is it, first of all, to hear yourself on the radio?
Sounds good.
Jalen.
Jalen, I'm sorry. So, Jalen, how is it? Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, song was excellent. And how does it feel, first of all, to hear yourself on the radio?
Usually when I hear myself in recordings, I be feeling like bad for people because like, oh, my voice is so high. But when I recorded that song and I hear it back with all the artists coming to you and asking you, how does this sound? Do you like this over this? I produced something that I can look back on and I can play again and be proud of to show it to other people. So it's a really nice feeling to hear it back.
That's excellent. And Jalen, then as you talk about it, this is not your first CD or even the second CD since I think you've been a student at Hill Friedman. And so how does it feel each time you do this? And I mean, do you learn from the first couple and then apply that at the next time? How does that work?
Personally, this is my second CD. The first being Wake Up Everybody. It was the first album I was on in 10th grade. But as I write, I have new experiences each time. I always think about when I was younger, 11 years old, writing with my little brother. I didn't have experiences and the rhymes weren't the best, but I was still writing. But as I've grown older, I have new experiences each year, each second, each day. There's something new that you go through, and I apply everything that I go through to my songs. I also apply my poetry skills and literary devices. Y'all know in English, the similes, the metaphors. I put all of that into what I write. And for people, like, they might not get it at first, but for those who connect to the song, they might say, oh, this has a deeper meaning to it. I can hear it. I can hear what it's saying, but I can also see what she's talking about and understand that it's something besides the kingdom that she's talking about. It's something besides feeling sorry for everything she's doing that she's talking about.
So that's Jalen from Hill Friedman, and that was her just featured on one of the songs that was just played. The next one we're going to play is a song that features Jameer, who's also here with us this morning. And so I want to get the engineer to tee up the second song from Hill Friedman, And we will then hear from Jameer after we hear the things that matter.
Our lives begin to end the day that we become something about things that matter. Too much negativity on the news. Try to avoid it cause it ruins my mood. I hear it on TV, wanna put it on mute. Gotta block it out, start blasting my tunes. Every day is either someone's killed or abused. Here's something good, now it's back to drug use. I could accept it all, but I'd rather refuse. It's sad to think that this is something that we're used to. And it's all gonna stay the same. Unless you say something, nothing's gonna shift or change. And it's all gonna stay the same. Unless you say something, nothing's gonna shift or change. Our lives begin to end the day that we become something about things that matter. Our lives begin to end the day that we become something about things that matter. Don't even get me started in politics. Hate to talk about it, let alone be part.
That's fantastic. So we were just hearing from Jameer Nixon, and he's a Hill Friedman student on things that matter. And so, Jameer, good morning, and Happy New Year to you as well. And congratulations on the track. And I know this is also not your first album, and so can you talk a little bit, just like I asked Jalen to do, on how is it hearing yourself on the radio, and then number two, what is it like to put all of your thoughts and your literary expressions into the music and then into a CD?
Well, firstly, good morning and Happy New Year to you as well. Actually, this is the first album I've ever been on.
Okay.
It's coming to Hill Friedman. Yeah, this is my first album, and it feels a little weird hearing it on the radio and like hearing it back again and again. But it's a nice opportunity to have. I really like this, and being able to like express myself and get out my opinions and thoughts on some of the things that are happening in our world today. It feels like I feel blessed to have that opportunity, because I know that a lot of children don't have that like opportunity to be able to express themselves in a way that like they enjoy doing, like for the most part. And yeah, it's just a great opportunity. When making the song, it started off as just a project, for Martin Luther King Day. It was a project that we had to do in music class. And later on, Mr. Thurman had approached me and asked if I wanted to make a full song based off the project. And I agreed, because I thought like this would be like a great opportunity for me. I would be able to like express myself and dig deeper. And once I got into the writing process for the lyrics and everything, it kind of brought out more and more passion the more that I wrote. And there's this segment in there where I do a rap about Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. And that was the biggest part for me, was like getting to that part and being able to like really get my words out in that part.
Well, Jameer, thank you for sharing that. And we were listening, Cody, to Jameer Nixon, who's a student at Hill Friedman. This is his first album, and so congratulations to him. But we also heard earlier from Jalen Pearson, who's also a student at Hill Friedman. This is her second album, and set of songs, and those young people were both talking about what it's like to not only hear themselves on the radio, but also to be able to express themselves as a part of their educational experience at Hill Friedman. We also have with us, and I think this individual is joining by phone, Olajuwon Cannon, who is a student from Strawberry Mansion. And I will ask, before we bring on Olajuwon, if the engineer can play Sky is the Limit. And that is a track that Olajuwon is featured on. And just want to hear the track, and then we can talk to Olajuwon.
Ain't no stopping me now. Yeah, I know where I'm headed. Got my feet off the ground. I'ma grind and go get it. Yeah. And no matter what they say, I ain't gonna listen anywhere. Ay.
The sky is the limit, cause I know just where I'm headed. If I want it, I'ma get it. Can't stop grinding till I win it, no. Until I win it, no. The sky is the limit, we already see the vision. We work hard until we finish. Can't stop grinding till we win it, no. Until we win it, no.
It might be wet outside, but there's no reason to cry. We ready to fly sky high, so pack your bags, enjoy the ride.
I've been on my prime, don't wanna waste my time. My head is in the clouds, can't nothing hold me down. I looked and nose around, refurbish what I found. Resilience is the key, ain't no stopping me now.
Sky is the limit, cause I know just where I'm headed. If I want it,
Doc, you got some talented young folks there.
I'm telling you what, Cody.
How do I get that album?
Yeah, we can get you copies. We can get you all of the albums.
Yeah, everything's available on SoundCloud and YouTube right now. A couple more months, it should be available on all streaming platforms. So stay tuned.
Okay,
Indeed.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so and I think we have Olajuwon on the line with us this morning. And first of all, Olajuwon, good morning to you and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
And so can you tell us a little bit about, and I asked the other two students this as well. First, how does it feel hearing yourself on the radio? And then why did you decide to join the singing group at Strawberry Mansion? And when you joined, did you know or did you expect to make a CD?
First of all, it was definitely a different experience to hear myself on the radio. It was amazing. I've been in choir for years and years since I was in like fourth grade. I've been in choirs, in different choirs. I was in a Keystone State Boys Choir, which is like one of the first choirs to ever been to perform on all 7 continents. So I knew that singing was already a passion of mine. And then I went to Strawberry Mansion and met Mr. Perkins in 9th grade, like 9th grade orientation. And he's like, "You're going to be a star." And I'm like, "That's awesome." So I've been going to the music room ever since and just like recording different things. And he told me about this opportunity with the John Lennon tour bus, and I was like, "That's awesome." And I got picked for it. And we recorded the song. The experience with the John Lennon tour bus was amazing. They were all really nice. It was my first time recording in a actual studio. Like I recorded in Strawberry Mansion studio, which is pretty legit too, but like that was like high tech studio.
That's awesome. And I mean, to you and all of the other students who are here with us this morning, and we just heard Olajuwon talk about recording in the studio. And can any of you talk about that experience? I mean, and actually how you work through that process? Jalen, I saw your hand go up, so go ahead.
I used to raise my hand in school. Before we were out of school, I loved going into the music studio. It's like a little hidden gem. You go into the classroom, you see all the laptops, and then you go around the corner, and behind this door is these rooms with the music studio, and I love the setup. It's personal. When you're in there, I usually am in there with Miss Crystal. She's hyping you up. She's like, "Come on, you got this." And I just love the experience. But when we got out of the school, when we were in a situation we didn't even know how to go through, Mr. Thurman, he gave us the Backpack Studios, and I had set that up. I was getting help from Mr. Andrew to understand what I'm supposed to do, because I didn't know how to set up anything. But I set it up in this room. I was, again, in a closed corner. I like just being by myself when I'm recording, because I like I don't like people to hear the finished product until it's perfect. I like it to be what I want it to be for other people to hear. So I just love having that experience. I love being in the studio, all the music, putting your voice over your voice again and again. It's just an amazing experience to have.
Thank you.
So, Doc, you're almost out of time, you know, and that's a shame, too, because it's been a wonderful show.
Indeed. And I just want to once again thank all of our guests today, and Frank Makos, the Executive Director of Arts and Creative Learning for the School District of Philadelphia. We heard earlier from Brandon Panky, who is the Vice President of Business Development and Operations at Live Nation, but he's also a School District of Philadelphia alumni, specifically graduating from Masterman. We had two teachers with us this morning. I thank them while they cut their break a little short just to get on early on a Saturday morning. Ben Perkins, teacher at Strawberry Mansion. Ben, thank you for everything that you've done on behalf of Olajuwon and all of the other students you're working with. We also have Ezekiel Thurman, music teacher at Hill Friedman World Academy. Ezekiel, thank you for what you've done to support Jameer Nixon and Jalen Pearson. And Jameer and Jalen, thank you for being here this morning, and congratulations to all of you for doing this incredible work. And Cody, it goes without saying that young people are extremely talented, and people always ask, like, why is it so important to ensure that we're investing in the arts and music? And we've heard from the young people today of why that's so critically important. And it engages them in ways that allows them to express themselves, allows them to actually integrate this learning as they're also learning the other core content areas. And so this is something that is extremely important to all of us here in the School District of Philadelphia. And I'm so excited that we've had this opportunity to share it with all of the listening and now viewing audiences on WURD. And so as we close, Cody, want to remind everybody that virtual learning, Jameer, Jalen, Olajuwon, it returns on Monday, January 4th. So we are back into virtual learning. I'll also remind individuals that food distribution will resume on Friday, January 8th, and we will add additional sites for pickup. And if people can please go to our website. And then all services and offices will open starting Monday. And I just want to thank everybody who has been able to get up and share some time with us on a Saturday to talk about the music and arts program, and wish everyone a happy new year once again. So Cody, with that, we'll go ahead and close out. And I just want to thank all of the guests once again. And thank you, Cody.
Thank you, Dr. Hyde. Thank you. And thank your executive producers, Evelyn Sample Oates and Hania Sharp Brown, and young Jordan, the engineer in the studio. And my compliments to all of those folks on this program today. Excellent, Doc.
Indeed.
Take care.
Take care.